This is Tracy with Weird Unknown. Today I'm going to tell you about the truth of some of the Wild West cowboys and outlaws. Most of you think they were tough, rough, and fought all the time. You may have heard of some of these wild people, but let's start with Outlaw Queen Belle Starr. She was supposed to be like the female Robin Hood. She would take from the rich and give to the poor. She also led a group of desperados. This is so not the story. Belle was born Myra Belle Shirley. She grew up in Texas. There weren't very many jobs for her, so she pretty quickly became a prostitute. Well, that's not a very safe job to your body, but she did it. She then followed her boyfriend to Oklahoma, and he did not want her once they got there. She did, however, find a man, married him. His name was Sam Starr. He was a cattle rustler. So, at one point, she decided she was going to rustle some animals. Her 5-foot-tall, 90-pound self stole 2 milking cows. She got caught and she went to jail. The only time she ever went to jail. Once she was out and a little bit older, she appeared to have some mental health issues. Again, prostitution was not good for her body or her mind. She was known to walk down the street with a long barrel Colt, saying she was the leader of an outlaw band. Poor Belle was killed on February the 3rd, 1889. She was shot in the back. It is assumed that it was by her grown son, who had appeared to have had mental issues. They said that he was mentally deranged, most likely, again, caused from being a prostitute and not living in an age where health was very well taken care of. And so you're wondering, how did any of the story end up so different? Well, Alton B. Myers was down on his luck, and he decided, hey, I think I'll write a story about this. Except I am going to make this story fantastic and make people notice me as a great writer and talk about a cool lady. There you go. Truth number 1. She wasn't a desperado. She wasn't a tough lady. And she wasn't killed by anybody that was trying to kill an outlaw. She ended up being killed by her own child. Maybe you've heard of Deadwood Dick. Most stories about him are not true. His real name was Nate Love. He was the son of Tennessee slaves. However, he actually had a cool job. And they say, even though his race was not Caucasian, he did a great job. So he was asked to deliver cattle all the time. When he said he would deliver the cattle anywhere, he absolutely would. However, when he was young, he enjoyed dancing, drinking, and shooting up the town, just like anybody else. About 1876, he went to Deadwood around the 4th of July, and there was a roping and shooting contest for prize money. He entered the contest and won both of them. From that day on, he was called Deadwood Dick. Now, I know why he was called Deadwood. I don't know why he was called Dick. I couldn't find it. But the story was carried on by Edward L. Wheeler. He made Deadwood Dick a hero just because of winning these contests on July the 4th. 1876. Other parts of the story that changed is he put him in all black clothes, and the only thing that you could see is his white skin. Now, this story, absolutely incorrect. And this story was told to all the people in the East through his writings. Now, in the West, they still knew the truth, but people in the East, hearing about the Wild West cowboys and outlaws, heard another lie. Biggest lies of all, cowboys in general are always shown in Hollywood with guns. Most cowboys did not carry guns at all. They would get in the way of their work they were doing. The only time a cowboy had a gun was when they were going to drive to town for protection, or biggest reason, shooting rattlesnakes or anything trying to attack them. And high noon quick draw shootouts in the main street, they were only in Hollywood. They weren't anywhere else. In fact, it was very rare to have gunfighters in the West. A famous lawman, Wyatt Earp, said that he would never attempt a quick draw interaction. That'd be like the death of him, because if he didn't draw fast enough, he's dead. He said he stood a better chance of survival when you take careful aim and fire. Makes sense. Tom Horn was supposed to have been a legendary quick shooter. In real life, he usually killed by ambushing his victims, hiding from them and killing them from behind. He was a hired killer, so of course he wanted to stay alive so he could make his money, so he hit, attacked, and killed for hire. There's some other mean people that were in the Wild West, like John Wesley. The legend said he killed 40 men. Truth is, he killed 8. He was really mean, though. He killed one of them because they would not stop snoring. Wow. I know you probably heard that the Wild West violence was excessive, but it's not compared to today. The citizens would not have put up with the stuff like they do today. Let's take Wyatt Earp, for example. If murder started happening in a town, like it did in Wichita back in the day, he was asked to come in. So if you were in a town where Wyatt was in charge, you could not come in the town without dropping your guns off first. So then, if anyone acted up, Wyatt would usually just talk him out of stuff or talk him down enough so that he could take him to jail. But most of the work that Wyatt did was very mundane. He checked chimneys for hazards, he swept the sidewalks, and picked up dead animals. If Wyatt had to work today, he would turn in his badge. Well, folks, what do you think? I'm sure there's others that I didn't speak of that aren't true either, but this was a small group of them that I thought, hey, let's at least clarify some of the myths about this. Bye, y'all.